Hello! So this is what I was talking about yesterday, when I was talking about doing a tabletop RPG with the Band of Blades rules, completely rewritten, completely redone, and ready for you all to partake in. So this is happening. We're going to be starting probably towards December, as my work climbs down. It's going to be really busy in November, but once we get to December, things will climbing down, and easing off a little bit. So, this is strictly for people who are subscribed to the channel. So, if you're not subscribed, please become subscribed. And there's something I wanted to do for a long time. Anyone who's been with me for a long time, and a lot of you have known that I've been talking about this for pretty much years, like the past year or two. I've always wanted to play these types of things with strangers. I've done it before. I've been paid to do it before, but I've not done it for a while. As you know from some of our recently finished campaigns that we put on the channel, I normally play with friends. But there's something about playing with friends. Like, a lot of them tend to they take it seriously, but they don't like it. It's not a huge thing to them because you're a friend. It's different when the GM is someone that you've come together with to simply tell this story. And this is what I wanted to do with you guys. And a lot of you have expressed an interest. So let's go on ahead. Because for the first time on the channel, this has nearly happened a few times, but I've just not been able to do it with time. For the first time, I can see myself having a lot of time to do this, to be able to throw my full creative weight behind it. And I've already finished the rules, I've already finished the setting, everything's done, polished, and ready to go. So, this is Talon, a Band of Blades powered tabletop RPG. Now, the first thing I wanted to say, if you've not bought Band of Blades, it's about $30 in the shops, it comes in a nice little book. Go and buy it and support the people who wrote it, because it is a fantastic set of rules. And whilst you're there, if you want to, buy the Shadow, what was it called? The Blades in the Dark, the original game. But let's carry on. So first is, what is the Scorched Earth? Where are you going to be playing? Well, it's a dark fantasy Earth, to be very, very derivative. Okay, the Scorched Earth is essentially what I think would happen if magic and the gods existed. I'm talking about Zeus and all the rest. So it's wherever you are in the world, whatever gods you used to have in your country, they existed, they were real, and they basically destroyed the world. Okay? Now, every medieval culture on Earth is a part of the world, even if you do not see them. Okay? They almost always do not get along. So this is the high warfare setting, and every medieval culture is warped by magic. So the Roman Empire is instead the Riemann Empire in the setting, because Remus killed Romulus, not the other way around. Things like that. So England isn't a thing, but Caelland is, and Lyria is a thing, but Spain isn't. Aragon is a thing, but France and Spain isn't. So different. So there are real world names given to things, but they're slightly warped, slightly changed. But you can definitely get a sense of what culture is which as you're playing through the story. It's completely fine to play a Japanese person, whatever you want to do in the setting as well. That's completely fine. Because at the end of the day, you're a mercenary company. Okay? But in this setting, every fantasy creature you've ever been told about on Earth also exists and is out there in the wilderness somewhere. So things like this basically, the one thing I love about this is that when you're writing a fantasy setting, it's very easy to become very derivative, very Tolkien, very normal. Whereas this gives me an excuse to do that. I'm like, yeah, I have orcs and I have elves and I have dwarves, but I'm not copying Tolkien. If anything, Tolkien's copying this. Because Tolkien wrote about the real, fantasy races in the real world, or in his real world, as in Middle Earth. Whereas, so am I. I'm literally writing about Earth. I'm not writing about this weird, Middle Earth as Tolkien did. I'm literally writing about Earth. Just magic exists. This is what would happen if the gods were real, and magic exists. Basically, when you're an ancient Greek and you're talking about stories about the gods and things like that, well, this is what would happen if that world they're describing was real. Okay? So, by the way, I'm not comparing myself to Tolkien. Tolkien's the daddy. No, so let's not go there. I'm currently rereading Lord of the Rings as well, which is just once a year, every year. Let's be honest. It is rife with military and historical fantasy. So I'm a historian by trade. I teach history, and I teach quite a lot of military history too. So legends and battles are inspired by real life events and people. So even if Alexander the Great is not in the setting by name, he is in the setting by nature, for example. So there's a character called Sarpedon, who is a conqueror of a vast empire, and he's modelled after Alexander. That there is a Julius Caesar in the setting. There is, they all have different names. They're not called Julius Caesar because Caesar's family doesn't exist. Caesarion does though, which is an offshoot of the family that he belongs to. So you will recognise different cultures and different people if you look hard enough into the setting. Alright, it's an unforgiving world, and this is very important. It's a world with true consequence for your actions. So the Scorched Earth is an unforgiving place that the gods smashed to pieces long ago. Magic here is cruel, and people are used to fighting to keep what they have and take what they have not. Alright? So, why should you join? Why should you come and play with us? Why should you step into the world? Well, I'm an experienced dungeon master, right? So I have over 10 years of experience now as a DM. I've run campaigns from Dungeons and Dragons to Shadowrun to basically any game you can think of. I've pretty much run. It is a grand tapestry, so your story will form part of a grand tapestry in the world of the Scorched Earth. Your story takes place in the year 888, and the books I'm writing take place in 1488. How that world looks is largely up to you. So, the map that you're seeing there is the map that is the world now. It will look different, it will be coloured differently. There are different cities, states, or even countries will be wiped off the map, depending on what you do in the campaign. It will get that serious. So, I'm currently writing a set of books, which won't be out for, 10, 15 years, because I want to get at least 2 or 3 of them done before I even shop them around. But they will take place hundreds of years after this. So your characters in this may become legends or even gods or whatever. They could become anything, right? Depending on what they do during the setting, during the actual campaign. And it's open storytelling, so I'm a collaborative DM, okay? I take on ideas and hints all the time, and I want to work with you to create a story you will always be able to look back on and smile, okay? I want you to create memories here. I want you to have characters that are going to stay with you forever, that you want to keep coming back to. That's what I want, okay? So, that's why I think you should join. But who am I looking for? Alright, this is very personal to me. Bear in mind, this is just my opinion on what makes a good table. It's not, this isn't a be-all, end-all. So what am I looking for? Number one, I'm looking for punctuality, okay? I'm looking for punctual people, professional people. Not being able to make every session is completely fine. I do put a lot of effort into these sessions, though, so you need to make every effort to try and turn up, okay? I've got no problem with even on the day if you say, look, my dog's died, or, I'm ill, or whatever. That's fine by me, but as long as you made every effort to turn up, that's fine by me. If you don't want to put the effort in to turn up, or to be there, you're not in the campaign, you're done, and I will take your character out. If I get a sense that you just can't be bothered, because there's nothing worse for a GM who puts the creative juices into this. Because I don't do halves. I literally throw myself into this, and I create a world and a setting and a story that you can really get your teeth into. Do you need to be on in every single session? No. No, you can have off days. We're all human. But you need to respect the process and say, okay, this guy works hard on what I'm doing, so even if I'm not quite feeling it today, I'm going to turn up. Maybe my mood will change. Maybe it won't. But, I'll talk to me about it. Like, I'm here for you, But just not turning up is something that I just can't abide. Sorry. Communication's key, is what I'm saying there. Friendly and fun. I'm looking for friendly and open people. I'm not looking for rules lawyers and min-maxing folks. There's nothing wrong with being a rules lawyer. There's nothing wrong with being a min-maxer. If you want, that's how you want to play the tabletop role-playing game. That is up to you. There are games called Dungeons and Dragons and other games that you can go and play that will suit you just fine. Band of Blades, do not be coming into Band of Blades expecting lengthy stat lists, saving throws, things like that. This is a backbone of rules that I use rules in inverted commas. These are guidelines, and they're only there to serve the story and nothing else. So don't be expecting to come in saying, oh, I do 1.8 points of damage and it takes off 0.1% of this. No, there's none of that in the story. To give you a hint, weapons don't even have damages in the story. Right? They don't even have damage ratings. Literally. Okay? But when you read the rules, you'll get what you'll get what it all is. Sorry, he's having a drink there. So, yeah, do not be coming into the game looking for loads of rules and the opportunity to min-max. There isn't one, as far as I'm concerned. So, no real-world politics, and this goes for both sides of the spectrum, okay? And I use the word spectrum on purpose. I will not entertain real-world politics at my table or on my stream, okay? This is not a platform for you to talk about that outside of your character. If your character is a racist, if your character is a very totalitarian, if your character is very punk-like and is very chaotic good kind of person, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with your character being whatever you want them to be. What I do not want is people talking about real-world politics. For instance, the election is today. If we were doing a stream today and you talked about the election, I would get really annoyed. I don't want that. You know, feel free to turn up and talk about whatever you want, but real-world politics is off the table. I don't want it at the table. People watch these things and play in these things to escape, not to have the same bullshit brought up all over again, okay? That's just what we don't want to do. The world's shitty enough without us adding to it, to be honest with you. I'm open to darkness, so... Talon takes place in a dark world. Right? There is racism, abuse, both sexual and otherwise. There's drugs, prostitution, and all sorts going on. If you're not comfortable with that, then Talon is not the game for you. And that's completely fine. I've got no problem with that. It's not for everyone. And I completely respect that. I'm getting this open right up front right now. It is dark. Will I go all dark all the time? Of course not. There's laughter in every world. There's hope in every world. But I'm a big believer in there's no light without darkness. Okay? Like, I don't do a one-tone world. Actions will have consequences and things like that. A willingness to read. This is probably the biggest one for me, even though they're all equally important. There is a bit of lore to read for Talon. Alright? There's about 20 pages of it. But I expect you to at least read what your character would know. Is he an Asunder? Is your character an Asunder? Okay, read up on the Asunder and their enemies. Alright, so if you don't want to read the entire thing, that's completely fine. What I would do is sort of talk to me about what character you want and what cultures are in the world, and then go and read upon that culture and that character and go and, you know, come and give me your character sheet. And I'm looking for a group of storytellers. The fiction is all that matters in Talon, and we're going back to our previous point on min-maxing and rules now. The fiction is all that matters in Talon. We are telling the story of the Last Legion, not demigods, heroes, or who never suffer or have a setback, okay? So, the story of this is the Last Legion. It is a legion who are... Well, let's get into it. So, the Last Legion are fleeing the coming apocalypse. Okay, there is a god called the Exiled King who has come back and torn down the Roman Empire. So this great northern empire, which takes the place of the Roman Empire, has been brought crashing down. And you are a mercenary band who escaped the Battle of Ettenmark Fields. Okay, and this battle basically annihilated the last hope of the Roman Empire, as the hordes, the undead hordes and demonic hordes of the Exiled King, these Lovecraftian horrors, just swept over everybody. And you fled across the sea, and you've now landed in Caelland, which is our world's version of Britain. And you have come there to warn the rest of Europe, the rest of the world, that the Exiled King is on his way. If you survive. Okay, that is the story that we're looking to tell here. And you are part of the Last Legion. And it's going to be military fantasy. You're going to be having this legion. You're going to be telling them what to do, where to go, how to fight. And it's going to be up to you whether the world stands united against the Exiled King or is completely annihilated by him. That's the stakes. Okay. So, I want to join. What do I do? By the way, these guys that you see on the picture here, samurais in the setting, do ride dinosaurs. There's another thing that I have to get across to you. So, I want to join. What do I do? Okay, so comment on this video, number one. Whack a comment below the video showing an interest along with why you're interested in the setting or the game. It'll give us a chance to talk, and it'll also give us a chance to go over any starting ideas that you have for characters that you might want to go over, okay? Email me for your free campaign setting and rules pack. It's completely free. I'm not charging for it. Email me at northernexile88@gmail.com for your free campaign setting and rules pack to start making your character, okay? And that took me 2 months to write, of about an hour or two a night, so a lot of work went into that. So I hope you enjoy it. And thirdly, and this is completely optional, donate to my Patreon/PayPal. Okay, I put a lot of work into this, and I pay for a lot of the programs like Wonderdraft to make maps and Roll20 Premium to run the games. So any help you can give towards those costs, if you are playing, would be grand. Okay. Also, I do teach for a living, and doing this takes time away from that I could be earning money to teach. All right. So there's the links to my Patreon and my PayPal. Feel free to do whatever you wish with those. You don't need to give me any money to play in the game. And I will not chase people up whilst I'm in the game. I've got better things to do. But any help you want to give, even if it's just £1, £2, whatever, is more than, you know. It would literally mean the world to me if you did that, and just to give me a financial attaboy pat on the head for writing these nice things for us. So, thank you very, very, very much for watching. I really look forward to getting this started. No start date yet. It will happen towards December, though. Okay? So, can't wait to get started. It's going to be great. I'm going to love it. I'll speak to you next time.